So I'm Lesya Dymyd. I'm OCP Future Technologies Symposium Chair. And today I'm going to talk about how to scale up future technologies, open hardware in the Open Compute Project Foundation. So primarily we are going to focus on two areas, on Future Technologies Initiative and Future Technologies Symposium, in order to understand how can we scale up these technologies and which exactly technologies I will tell you later a bit further in these two big programs. So before I will tell you what is Future Technologies about, I would like to introduce you the Open Compute Project. And how many of you have heard about the Open Compute Project Foundation? Okay, we do have some people who have heard about the OCP. So OCP has been introduced in 2011 by Facebook, by engineers from Facebook, with the purpose to develop open hardware in an open community. And it's been such a great success because we recently celebrated 10 years and we're actually growing. Right now we have around 300 companies who are members of our community and around 6,000 engineers who contribute at different levels. So what is OCP and why should we care about that? So OCP is a foundation responsible for fostering and service the open community to develop solutions that meet the market needs. So our goal is to bring the hyperscaler innovation to everyone and everywhere. And how we do that? We are doing that through the open design, the best practices, the data center facilities and IT equipment. We also do it in a way that we share innovations for efficiency, for scale-up, operations and sustainability. I'm going to give you some examples how can our community members benefit and contribute to the Open Compute project. So we have 14 projects. These are OCP projects that have a specific focus. For example, we do have the sustainability projects, we have the rack and power, we have storage, we have networking, data center security, data center facilities, and so on. So depending on what your interests are or what are the interests of your company, you can join these groups and contribute. You see, we also have the regional communities, so these are more focused on the regionals and developing activities around OCP and OCP data centers, OCP hardware solutions for these particular regions. We also have the European region, so if you're interested, please reach out to the leads of these communities. And by the way, for both for the OCP projects and regional communities, we have volunteer project leads who are responsible for managing and organizing and driving these community efforts within their work group. We also have the OCP contribution database. This is a database where you can find all the specifications, all the documents that has been contributed by the members, by the engineers of the different companies for the OCP. And we also have the marketplace. So marketplace is a really interesting thing because you can find 4 categories of products and services and solutions with this marketplace. We have integrated solutions, we have telecom and edge, facility services, and edge products. Inside the OCP marketplace, you can also find the OCP Ready and OCP Experience Center. These are the IT locations where you can try the hardware, where you can test your software as well, and you can actually experience and see what is that to have the OCP hardware and OCP data center solutions. Our organization also have OCP Global Summit and Regional Summit. So the global is in the US, in San Jose, and the regional summit will be held actually in April. So if you're interested, please join our efforts there as well. And as I mentioned earlier in the beginning, we have one focus, which is future technologies. And this is the most exciting part for me because this is a program that I'm managing, and I'm really happy to tell you how can we, OCP, develop future technologies for data centers and for our community. So let me start with the initiative. So Future Technologies Initiative is an Open Compute Project Foundation initiative or a big program that brings together research communities and our industry members to partner in addressing long-term problems and accelerate productization through collaborative R&D. So our goal is to identify what are these future technologies for the data center industry and how can we develop them in our community by creating partnerships between industry and research or academic communities. Right now we have the mission to scale up innovations, to develop technologies that can be adopted by the industry, and also we are focusing on people because technology without people is useless, and we want to focus on humans and on people in order to create collaboration, in order to foster their training and research and also recruitment. So we do have some activities around the recruitment for students, for researchers, and for people who are willing to work in the industry and our partner companies. At this moment, we have three Future Technologies Initiative work stream. So these are long projects with a purpose to develop solutions. So AI, hardware, software co-design. We have a cloud service model, and recently we have launched the computational storage. We also have one successful project that has been developed for 2 years and now has been transitioned to the OCP community, which is software-defined memory. So these are the project that has been created and evolved under the FTI, and right now it has been transitioned to the OCP community and is adopted in our project leads in the OCP. We do also have some other areas that we're exploring and planning to launch in the future, and one of those is optical interconnects. And by the way, I will tell you a bit later that we had a project that won our best paper in optical interconnects, which gives us a signal about, yeah, this is the area where OCP and our community should focus. Our main drivers when we work in the FTI are inclusion and ROI, returns of investment and of our time, and also bringing value to the community members. And we do have the pipeline of ideas, solutions, and also the pipeline of talents and people. The second big program that we have available is Future Technologies Symposium. This is a continuation of the initiative, and the symposium is a dedicated forum to spotlight promising technologies in our field and bring them to our community in order to create R&D collaborations and partnerships. We do organize symposium at the global OCP summit and at the regional summit. So symposium is more about the event that we make for people from the academia, research, industry, and startups. So I would like to share some of the results of our successful execution of this project. We have launched the symposium in 2019, and we started from having only 20 people who came to present what they do, and those were people from the American universities and some from the Europe, and also people from companies. And we started from 20 people, and right now we have a community of more than 300 people involved and joining our efforts. We started really small. We had only 14 submissions for our very first symposium, and last year for the global symposium we received a 60 submission, which is kind of demonstrate the success of our efforts. And we also awarded the $10,000 of investments for the best paper award, and this went to 2 startups that actually use this money in order to continue their efforts. And our community is really focused on people that come from the academic or research areas. These can be senior or junior researchers, students as well, or professors that doing some upstream innovations or research and development projects. We focus on the industry, the companies that have R&D, strong R&D focus, and that working on scaling up future technologies in partnerships or developing these technologies internally, and we also work with startups, the one that really come up with innovative solutions for data centers. And what do we do exactly for the Future Technologies Symposium? We have our own process with a call for papers. So we ask everybody who would want to attend and participate in symposium to submit a paper in a two-page paper in IEEE format. So as you might understand, this is a kind of research-driven activity. So this will be in the format of a research paper, and then we have a peer review process. We also work with the program committee. Those are experts that come from the industry or from academia or from research that help us analyze this work and actually determine who should present, why should they present, and also provide the feedback on some of these promising technologies. We also have our metrics and scoring. So in order to assess what are those technologies, and you might understand that there are so many different applications possible, we focus on innovation, technological feasibility, and adoption. Because we want to identify the technologies which are prominent and promising for the data center industry and made in the open hardware model, but at the same time they should be applicable, and later on they should be adopted in the Open Compute Project community members. Our experts, program committee, and invited experts also provide final feedback and comments, which help our participants to get the overview from the research and from the industrial people, and also build the relationship and build further partnerships. When submissions are accepted, it means that they can be accepted for presentations and poster, or only for a poster session, depends on the scoring, because as I mentioned, we also score the papers. So the high-value papers will be given the presentation and poster sessions. And the best paper, as I mentioned, we do have the best paper award, which is 10,000 K of US dollars, which will be rewarded for the best paper of the symposium. And just to give you an idea who help us to drive this, these are the people who are in our program committee for the 2022 OCP Global Symposium. So you see we have people from the national labs, Berkeley universities, we have people from Meta, Google, and Samsung. So we try to have a diverse community of people coming from the academic or research background, but also from the industry. We really want to bridge the gap between research, advanced research, and application in the community, in the private companies. And here are just some of the examples, like what you should expect if you decide to submit and attend the symposium. As I mentioned, we do have the presentations and we have the poster sessions. So the presentation are run through the day, and posters are available through the whole 2 or 3 days of the regional or global summit. So it depends on which event you attend, but the posters are available through the whole event. So not only the people who attend the symposium, but also people who attend the global summit or regional summit can come and see and speak with the authors about their technology, which actually creates a really nice dynamic about sharing knowledge, about talking about the projects, talking about the open hardware solutions for data centers, talking about the problems, like how can we identify the problems and how can we address, and also hopefully as a result to build partnerships and collaborative projects together. Another example of Best Papers Award. So in 2022, we give the Best Paper Award to Data Center Sustainability. So it's a cloud and heat startup. It's a German-based startup with presence in Dubai. So they are working on data center solutions for sustainability and energy reuse. And this year we awarded the best paper to a startup in California that is working on new solution for networking. So it's really, like you see, we try to be diverse and we try to focus on different audiences and different solutions, and also, of course, to identify the best future technologies in our field. So our next event will be in Prague, and what if you decide to go there, you should expect that our focus will be more on the European. We had a great success in US with a global symposium. Right now we want to replicate it in Europe. So our main audience would be the European companies, and we're also targeting two topics. So one topic is AI and HPC, and the second is data center sustainability as a big current and ongoing challenge for the European market. So we really want to focus on those two, and we work with our program committee who reach out to different communities, different people, including the people from the academic communities and research and startups who can submit in these tracks. We are going to have the curated content this time, so there will be no application through the paper submissions, but what we want to propose to our participants is that we have a technology demonstration, and by the way, it's still open for applications, where we will bring best technologies and future solutions from startups or from universities, and they can showcase their solutions at the symposium. So it will be more immersive experience for our attendees of the event, where they can go and talk to the startups or go and talk with the industry and see what exactly they are proposing and how probably they can use it in their own business. The Global Summit will be in October with a standard application process. So we will be launching the call for papers in spring. We will define the several technological tracks, and we will invite people to submit the papers for participation. So the European is in April, and Global will be in October. We also continue our efforts on building the community, building the people, and building the collaborations between the academic and startups and industry. And we are launching actually a new program around the startups, where we will create the activities to support startup communities through the OCP. So if you're interested, please come and talk to me. And one of the reasons that I would like to leave this presentation with a core message for you is that you should join the FTI Future Technologies Initiative and Future Technologies Symposium. And why? Because we build the future of OCP, of Open Compute Project Foundation, and our main goal is to identify future technologies, identify the innovations in the hardware business and also for the data center. So please join us in our efforts. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. And we also have our table. If you're interested, come and speak with our team. Thank you so much.
Do we have some questions in the audience? We'll come to you with a mic. Anyone immediately? Yeah, there in the center. Yeah. You picked the best place to be to get your mic.
Completely random, by the way.
Perfect.
Thank you, Lesya, for your presentation. I'm from Innovate UK. It's part of government, and we invest in businesses to scale and grow. I'm particularly interested in your one of the tracks of the future technologies about software-defined memory. So if you could elaborate a bit on that, and what would be security implications treating memory as a software-defined thing? Thank you.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, we do have several tracks in the Future Technologies Initiative, and one of them is software-defined memory, AI, hardware, software co-design, and computational storage. We do have the project leads who are managing and defining the scope of activities for any of these particular tracks, and we also have we have members who are representing different companies and who are joining the efforts in order to build and work on the created scope of activities. So I'll be happy to bring you in touch with our project lead for the software-defined memory, who is actually the person from Intel managing this, Intel California, so US-based, who are managing the scope of work and will be able to provide you a more detailed analysis on what exactly they are working on, and also give you some heads-ups. The project existed for the last 2 years already, so it's kind of in the maturity phase that should be quite soon transitioned to the OCP community.
Anybody else? Other question? Then I will use my my power here to make just a quick comment. I think Lesya early on in the OCP kind of overview maybe undersold a little bit, right? So the organization itself is 10 years old, right? Started by Facebook, but now probably over 100 members, and there are literally tens of millions of machines that were designed and built against these open compute specifications in use today. Right, so the largest infrastructure at Facebook and at Microsoft, as well as some other companies that aren't maybe as loud about it. So literally, billions, more than $1 billion of kind of aggregate hardware revenue, and absolutely, tens of millions of machines, and easily, I think, 200, 250 kind of different projects, right? Not all of them that necessarily succeeded at that scale, but a very broad and very successful collaboration that really wouldn't have been possible in the open. So, other questions about future hardware futures? We really do have a couple of more minutes before the next speaker. So if you don't ask questions, we have to sing or something. Right? Did someone upstairs threaten to?
Yes, please.
Astrid, go ahead. Yeah. Just a second. If we are streaming it, so if you.
Okay. What are your big predictions for where you think things are going to head in the next 3 to 5 years? Tell us something we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah, this is a big question. Like at the high level, I would say that there are some technologies that are appearing, and it is very hard to predict. You probably have heard about this craziness which happens right now in the social media about ChatGPT. So there are some things that are happening from the technological point of view, and that sometimes can bring a dramatic change into how we operate, how companies are organized, and how they do business. So I think it's getting really hard for us as individuals and as organizations to predict what are some of those things that can happen and trigger such change, as we saw COVID, how it impacts on the way how we do business and how we operate right now. So I think one thing will be to understand that there will be some kind of a black swans that happening, and that it's a bit difficult to predict how can we react or to predict in advance. But at the same time, I think we should be ready for a rapid development of technology. And as I mentioned, we do have the AI hardware software co-design team that are working on these areas and understanding how can we use that in our operations. So yeah, from the technological point of view, I think some technologies such as AI, blockchain will just increase, and we should be ready. And our engineers are really working hard on understanding how can we implement and use it in a better way.
I have one more question. Can you talk a little bit about the global nature of the collaboration within OCP? And how does it really span the world,
Yes.
as it were?
Yeah, so as Eric mentioned, probably I did not speak enough about the Open Compute project. I really focused on future technologies and understanding the innovations, like really cutting-edge innovations in the data centers. But what we do at the Open Compute projects, we have like a global presence. It's really a community where you have engineers, where you have business people, decision makers come and talk together about the technologies and data center solutions. Another thing is that we do have like a global presence. We try to foster and leverage our collaboration and projects in Europe, and we are coming back after the COVID times, coming back to Europe with the summit. So we'll be doing more programs and more workshops and more engineering sessions here in Europe. Collaboration is the way how we do our advancement and how do we develop new projects through the OCP. And another interesting thing is that in OCP, you will see not only engineers from different companies collaborating together, but there are so many competitive companies who come and join to work together. This is kind of very challenging thing for some organization to work with your partner, but at the same time it's very fascinating, because if you're able to sit together with your rival, with your competitors, and solve together the challenges, the problems in our industry, we are able to create the industry growth together. So our goal would be to collaborate, to foster this international collaboration, and solve the industry problems together instead of one each of us.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks. Anybody else? One last question. Yeah, go ahead. If you hold a second for a mic so we can capture it.
What's the criteria to join FTI? Is there a criteria?
So for Future Technologies Initiative, these are the projects, the longer projects. We do have our process. We have the project lead who developed the scope of work, and then you need to reach out to the project lead. As for now, it happens by invitation only, and the reason for that, to keep the group quite small, is because we want to really focus on identifying the scope. As you might understand, that when we define what are these areas for work streams, sometimes it's not clear where the work stream should go and where exactly they should develop. So the reason to keep it small for some time is to restrain the group, the number of people, and really define on what is the scope and where our community wants to go. Then the second would be that if you're interested to join, you can always reach out to our project leads, and on our webpage you can get the access to the contact information and wiki page. So what you need to do is to reach out, express your interest, and say that you are interested to join in the efforts, and then you will see.
But importantly, the symposium is open to anyone.
Yeah,
right?
the symposium.
So this is the FTI versus the FTS. Right?
So as mentioned, initiative is a longer project where people collaborate, people from different companies and organizations collaborate together for 1 or 2 years with the purpose to create something that can be further commercialized in the OCP community. For symposium, these are open for anyone and everywhere, and what you need is to just to keep track of our information, apply for the symposium before the deadline, prepare your IEEE 2-page paper, and submit. And we announce the technological tracks, so you just need to prepare your work in 2-page paper and submit before the deadline. It's open for organizations, for students, for professors, senior, junior researchers, for people from startups and people from companies, industry. Beautiful. And also individuals. So if you're an innovator and working on something really exciting, you can also submit the paper.
And remember the $10,000 prize.
Yes.
Thank you, Lesya.
Thank you.